Guten Tag and bienvenidos, listeners, and welcome to Über, Cinco, the podcast game show where we deep dive top fives. I'm Brian Ernst, your host for today's festivities, and in the den is Mitch Brinkman versus our very special guest, Dylan Cattie. Today, our contestants will reveal and defend their top 5 regional foods. Our first contestant is the man with taste buds so fine they made the devil himself give up his wine. He puts ricotta and green olives on his pizza and makes his risotto with orzo from Barilla. It's Mitch. Get your ass out of the kitchen, Brinkman. How are you, sir?
Thank you so much. I feel like I was born and I've been preparing for this episode. Even though I am not a debative professional, unlike my opponent today, I will put my best foot forward. I will put my best food mallet forward, if you will, the one I will use to bash my competition. And I want to give a shout out to a very important aspect of my top 5 today, and that is Cincinnati area. This is who they beer. Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Ain't nobody gonna beat them Bengals. And it also some Midwestern staples in the background here: the Vikings and a great hat for snow. Let's go. Top 5 U.S. regional foods. I am taking this one today. I'm sorry, Dylan. That's just the way it's gonna be.
All right, we'll see how that goes. And the challenger, a soon-to-be respected man of the law, hailing from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, a foodie, but more importantly, the valedictorian of St. Simon and Jude class of 2010. Go Explorers! It's Dylan. No bar is too high, Cattie. How are you, sir?
I'm doing quite well, and that is a deep pull from my past right there. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I had a man on the inside. Thank you. So what is your strategy today, Dylan, to go up against Mitch? I mean, you are a master debater where he is just a masturbator. So how is this going to go head to head today?
Yes, because obviously in addition to being the 2010 valedictorian of my elementary school, I'm also the 9th place finisher back in 2014 in the Pennsylvania State Debate Championship. So thank you. I have a history, I have a pedigree of debating, and I'm taking that skill set and going right after Mitch today.
Oh, man, I'm so glad to see someone come in guns a-blazing for Mitch. Usually it's just me. Glad someone else we could pass the torch to today.
He's so professional. My knees are weak. My knees are weak. And my belly's hungry, so let's go. Here we go.
All right. And as a reminder, don't forget to stick with us until the end of the show where I, Brian Ernst, will give you my Fast 5 send-off where I'll rattle off the definitive list of the top 5 signs December is upon us. And a quick message for our returning listeners. We love pleasing your ear holes and are always looking for more to fill. So please consider dropping us a review wherever you download fine podcasts and be sure to share with your friends. And if you have a topic or Fast 5 you're dying for us to cover, head on over to bizbear.biz to submit your suggestion. We may even battle it out on an upcoming episode. And for you newbies, let us wake you out of hibernation with a quick rundown of the rules.
Each player in the den has spent time with today's topic arranging their top 5 answers in order of importance. Those answers have been submitted to the host who will moderate the game, awarding points to the player with the most poignant answer.
Starting with their number 5 choice, we will move up the ranks until we reach each of their top answers. But if both contestants happen to have the same answer on their list, well, we have an Uber stare-down.
You will hear the official Über Cinco siren, and both players must reveal their answer and what number they ranked their submission. An Über stare-down is all or nothing, with one player earning 3 points. After all answers have been read, the host will reveal the final score. And as host, I'm entitled to institute a house rule for today's game, which I didn't write. So this blank space on my script I'm going to come up with now is the person who makes me laugh the most will get no extra points because you're just going to get the normal amount of points anyway. So, Dylan, you won the pre-show assless chaps catwalk strut, so you will go first.
Thank you.
Number 5, please.
Wow.
I guess it's my inaugural number 5 in this prestigious show. I'm going with a personal favorite. I'm starting with dessert because I think everything should start with dessert. And I'm selecting what I believe is unequivocally the greatest dessert ever. but especially among the U.S. regional variety. So picture this. Go back to, 1930s. Okay, 1930s, 1940s. You just feel the water around you. You just see it. Maybe you're passing by Ernest Hemingway's former house, rather. And then maybe you're taking a stop by Sloppy Joe's, a bar he used to frequent. Or maybe you're swinging by the southernmost tip of the continental United States and getting a lovely dessert. The best dessert. That is, of course, the key lime pie.
Oh.
Because what I personally think is what epitomizes U.S. regional food is how the rest of the country bastardizes it. How the rest of the country makes it worse, makes a derivative product that is objectively worse. Go to any supermarket and get that fluorescent green key lime pie that just tastes like just the most acidic and most sweet thing you've ever imagined. No, real key lime pie is yellow, okay? Made with egg yolks. Mm-hmm. Very simple. Key lime juice is a bitch to work with. Okay, it is difficult they're difficult to juice, but they reap the best rewards. It is sweet, it is tart, and it is most important, it's just decadent. And that is why number 5, key lime pie.
I love this selection because, like key limes, your imagination with this is very small. And so, yes, we like to bastardize it with some whipped cream or some meringue on top. But I think that adds to it, we don't all get key limes all over the country. And
but doesn't that just speak to the regionality? But doesn't
no,
that
it does.
Speak? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, it does. Okay, good point. All right, good point. All right, wow, you're better at this than Nathan. Okay, shit. I'm rocked here. Okay, it's just pie. It's just pie. Okay, it's just crust and filling. All right, that's my big retort. So,
Well, no, I mean the key lime pie I like is a solid handmade graham cracker crust with the pale yellow, awesomely zested limes into my key lime filling there with a thick meringue on top. So I have a triple effect going there, and that's the key lime pie that speaks to me. I don't know why you're trying to degrade it so much, Mitch, because I know in fact you love pie.
I mean, yes, I will eat a pie. Now I'm curious here, Dylan, because I know you're a man of research. Do you know the traditional? Is it with a graham cracker crust?
Oh yes, the traditional is graham cracker crust. The lemon egg yolks, the lime egg yolks, and of course the meringue on top. Come on.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I've seen it without meringue on top, so I didn't know what the original form was, but that makes sense. And making it in Florida, wouldn't the meringue behave differently?
Quite possibly. Honestly, I am less familiar with the specific meringue used for a traditional key lime pie than I may admit otherwise.
I think an important aspect of today's episode too should be how much have you had this food that you're talking about, and how much key lime pie have you had?
Oh, an excessive and unhealthy amount. I mean, I was at Ernest Hemingway's former residence. I was down. I ate key lime pie in the Florida Keys on Key West. So I think I'm an expert as anyone. Also, just random side fact that I'm really pissed about Key West to this day is that the monument for the southernmost point of the continental U.S. is actually not in the most southern point of Key West. You can literally look on a map and they just show more southern portions. The tourist map shows it here, and then there's literally another quarter mile south. And I'm like, okay, great, thanks.
Wow.
Oh, man. Before we go any further, I have made a huge mistake, and that's because Mitch, you do have a slice of pie here on your number 5 as well. It's not a key lime pie, but it is a pie, so you do need to defend this, and this is going to be for all the marbles. So, Mitch, moving away from the key lime pie, I'm doing a horrible job of sticking to our own rules that we have written for ourselves. Moving back onto you, Mitch, please defend why your number 5 pick is better than Dylan's number 5.
Yeah. And this slice of pie is something that is a truly uniting force for mankind, or for American kind, I should say. And that is a New York slice of pie. Hey, get the yay. Oh, that's my bad.
What is a New York slice of pie?
That's a slice. That's a pie is a pizza, and it's a slice. It's a New York slice, something as big as your face. Everyone can enjoy a slice of pizza, and do not say, "Oh, there's some people that don't eat dairy and they can't." No, it's people who can all eat. If you can eat the dairy, you love pizza. Pizza's great. Rich men, rich women, poor men, poor women, everyone in between, everyone can enjoy and does enjoy pizza. And in New York, you can buy a slice for 99 cents, get it for $1. You can pay up to, $5 to $8 a slice for going to someplace fancy, but each has their own merit. I love the dollar slice in a mid-afternoon walk when I'm headed uptown. Maybe I'm headed towards the Flatiron Building, or maybe I'm already past it. Maybe I'm going up to Central Park and I need a little fuel to get there. I'm stopping for a dollar slice. It's room temp, maybe a little warm. That's fine. Fold it up, eat it. Keep going as you're people watching and as you're enjoying the beautiful architecture. Melted cheese with some sauce on some dough can never be that bad. But the better slices, I must insist that when you order those, you get it well done. You have them pop it in the oven. It comes out crackling on the bottom like a cracker. You can hear it when you do the big fold, and you got to fold too. If you're not folding your New York slice, you're doing it wrong. Because in the case of there's some grease coming off of it, it's like a grease slide for it. Just pour it right in your mouth. That's more good calories for you to burn as you're walking in New York City, which you should be doing in New York City. And then also with that well-done slice, I'm hoping you're going to find some browning on the edges of your pepperoni. That's going to be a beautiful, delicious slice. Boy, howdy, look at you. You're killing it. And if you're not a meat eater, then you go with green peppers and onions. That's classic. You have what's the best way? That's a loving couple. The green pepper, it's a little spicy, but it's committed a loving life, a beautiful life to the sweet, tangy onion. And those together are just an imperative combo. And if you're really getting out there, Brian, I'm so glad you mentioned this in the opening. The best slice there is, not green, but Kalamata olives, pepperoni. You get that spicy meatiness. Hopefully that sausage is freckled with fennel. And then if you want a little creamy in there, beautiful little pillows of ricotta all over that slice. You slap that bad boy 2 edges, close it like a thin pamphlet, and you go to town, and you're welcome. You're going to thank me as you're choking down the last bit of that crust. And there it is. And whether it's, whether you're a one slicer or a many slicer like I am, always pair your pizza with a Coke or a Diet Coke, but preferably a Coke or an easy drinking Pilsner or lager. You do that, you're always gold, baby. So there it is.
Dylan, what do you have to say about this man's choice of
New York pie?
Of using the term pie to describe his pizza?
I'm a fan of a good New York slice as anyone else. And honestly, the margins that many of these New York restaurants operate on to ensure a $1 slice is kind of insane. And probably they're cutting costs somewhere. And I would suspect the ingredients. So I'd be wary, Mitch, a bit about overindulging yourself to that extent. But yeah, no, it's great and all. It's a tad bit passé, isn't it? Like, the New York slice is a bit overdone. And I think that's kind of why you put it at number 5. Like, you didn't believe in it. Like, when you think of New York slice, like, that's like when you think of U.S. regional foods, that's really like, oh yeah, New York pizza is kind of up there, but you're only putting it 5. So I think even you don't really kind of fully believe in the New York slice. Like, it is good, but like, when compared with like something as so special and unique to a very specific part of the country, like the key lime pie, I'm sorry, I have to prefer my number 5 over yours.
I'm building up from the slice, and like I said, this is a uniting chunk of food. Everyone can get behind pizza, whether it's Joe's on 54th, the other Joe's on 82nd, or Famous Joe's on 5th, or the other Famous Joe's on Avenue A. Or JoJo's on where is that? On Houston. No matter where you go, pizza's gonna keep you company, and you're gonna love it. So
yeah, but some would argue that the Neapolitan style is superior. But hey, preferences to each their own.
But you also need a crazy big oven, and 24 hours to achieve that. So to let the dough to ferment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
All right. You boys are putting me in an interesting pickle here. One, because I'm trying to picture where I would be or want to ideally be enjoying each of these foods. Would I rather be in hopefully a nice southern porch with a cool giant limeade next to my key lime pie with the wind blasting through my screened porch because I'm not dealing with any bugs? Or would I rather be in the rat race, scarfing down $1 slice of rat meat while I'm late to get to my class? So I think the only choice here is to pick the key lime pie is the winner of the Uber stare down for 3 points to Dylan.
Thank you, Brian.
Get out of here.
Brian, I really appreciate it. And I also want to take the opportunity to thank my corporate sponsor, and that is Nelly and Joe's Key West Lime Juice from Concentrate. So thank you.
This man is a fan, and that's just playing to my thrills here. Let's do it. We got to move on to number 4. Since Mitch, you lost really, really bad there. You should probably go with your number 4.
Wow. Okay. I thought I performed admirably. Obviously I need to take a different track here to get you back, Brian.
Yes.
And that's why my number 4 is an audacious pick. This is an insane dish. No one should have thought it up, but they did, and people keep making it and they keep serving it. And it's Watergate salad, AKA cookie salad. Now, the classic recipe is canned crushed pineapple, pistachio pudding, Cool Whip, pecans, and marshmallows. But in my beloved Midwest, we make it with vanilla pudding. You got buttermilk in there. Cool Whip again. Cool Whip is the standard. If you don't have Cool Whip, it's not a cookie salad. Also, in the Midwest version, you have mandarin oranges. Yum! Keebler fudge stripe cookies. That's another great one. This is an offshoot, one that my family makes in the heart of Minnesota dairy country. That is cheesecake salad, baby. Quick set cheesecake filling, canned cherry pie filling layered in there, Cool Whip, and then blueberries to garnish for a Patriots flair. You got a beautiful red, white, and blue going on. But my favorite, the one when you try it, you will say this is the best Watergate salad I've ever had, and that is what we call the Watergate pretzel salad in Minnesota. It's cherry jello, Cool Whip, crushed pretzels, sliced strawberries, cheesecake, quick set filling again, and then pretzels to garnish on top. The perfect mixture of textures. You got some crunchy, you got soft, you have a little bit of flesh in there in the strawberry. Maybe the strawberry's not so ripe, so it's a little, it's like biting into a little flesh or something. And then you got salty, you got sweet. And then you have fruit too, so it's healthy. You have fruit, so it's healthy. And your mom, your aunt can't yell at you because you got fruit on your plate. So that's my number 4. What I love about these salads too is your imagination can run wild. Whatever canned fruit you have in the house, or like a fresh strawberry, sure. Plop it on there, layer it up, make sure you have enough Cool Whip though. What's actually quite nice, if you freeze the Cool Whip first or make it and then pop it in the freezer for a little bit, bring it out, it's kind of like a little bit of a frozen treat too. But when it melts though, it does get pretty ugly on the buffet table. So be careful of that. But
so you got to get it first. Get it first. Get it on your plate fast and quick. This is not a dessert. Yep. It's a salad.
Yeah.
So, all right.
And if you're at an event where they put this on the dessert table, don't trust these people and move it back to the salad section of the buffet. Okay. Because this is a salad. There's fruit in it. It's healthy. Okay. Thank you.
All right. So I have never had this particular salad. This was not something that was a staple in my family. We had a dirt cake, which was basically the cheesecake filling with crushed Oreos on top and some gummy worms added to it. So that's not too bad.
But that's cake. This is salad. This is different. This is salad, not cake. Yeah.
This is different. Yeah. Everything you're describing sounds like something I would enjoy very, very much. So this is appealing to my salty, my sweets. I mean, Cool Whip, I'm there. Cheesecake filling, I'm there. Any kind of pudding. You're inching up the ladder here, Mitch. So yeah, we got to hear Dylan's number 4 here, but I'm going to keep you in mind. This is a good one.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Number 4 to Dylan. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually had Watergate salad. It is quite good, but I kind of think of it more as like a potluck dish, but that's kind of the extent of its role in I guess, the foodie culture. And honestly, I'm kind of concerned about Mitch bringing up the Watergate salad when it's the only reason why it has popularity is actually because of the Watergate scandal and not because of the intrinsic nature of the salad itself. But for my number 4, I was thinking barbecue. I was like, let's go with some good, like, old-fashioned American barbecue. Like, do I do Texas brisket? Like, do I do, like, a Carolina vinegar-based, like, just, like, pork or something, like, just, or even, like, an Alabama, like, a mayo-based or a white, based barbecue sauce? But then I was like, let's just go barbecue adjacent. Because there has been a city that has been destroying the game for what I would define as barbecue adjacent cuisine, and has been doing it before Chick-fil-A, been doing it before Popeyes, KFC, and I'm talking about the Nashville hot chicken. Okay, that spicy. Yeah. You get white bread. You get that wing and thigh combo, boom, with that cayenne pepper infused with inside the brine. It's soaked overnight in buttermilk. Like it's just this most delicious juice moist thing, and then they layer on just pickles on top. Just get that vinegar to cut the savoriness. You cannot beat that. And like everyone now is trying to hop on like the spicy chicken train, but Nashville started it, and that's why that's my number 4.
Okay. As soon as you said hot chicken, in my mind I thought, oh, that's cute. He's on the bandwagon. That's great. Because I feel like, is there hot chicken in Philadelphia? Is there hot chicken in Virginia? Do you eat a lot of hot chicken? Is that around? I don't know. I'm not believing this so much.
Oh no, I acknowledge. Not in Philadelphia, but no, there is some hot chicken places in Virginia that I frequent. So it is a staple. I'm not saying I have never been fortunate enough to have the authentic article, but like the derivatives that I've had have been phenomenal. I can only imagine the real article. And so honestly, I'm enamored. Honestly, hot chicken is kind of my thing. I always preferred fried chicken over like a burger any day of the week. And honestly,
true.
When you're just when you're adding cayenne, any spice to that chicken, ooh, that is grade A.
What's great about this is that Brian hates spicy foods, so like you're totally in the doghouse, my friend. I'm gonna win this one.
I was just about to talk about my sensitive little tasty buds, but
yeah, sorry, go for it. You should talk about the times when it's gotten bad.
Oh, it's gotten bad a lot. I mean, I can get a bad bag of Doritos that's too spicy for me. That's how white this skin is. So you're not playing to your crowd here. This judge is not accepting this number 4 too high. Also, you've only had the derivatives. You haven't had the original in Nashville. So I feel like that's going to knock you down a few points here. Okay. Mitch, I also haven't had your food. I'd love to have your food, so I'm going to give you the 2 points because I really, really want your food eventually, but I need you to make it for me. So, Mitch, you're getting 2 points, and Dylan, you're only getting 1 point this round. Hot chicken, not playing to my standards here. So let's stick on Dylan's side to hear what your number 3 is, sir.
Yeah, so my number 3 is by far the healthiest thing on my list, I would argue. It is also the oldest, I believe, dating back to roughly 500 AD or CE, if you want to do that way. So
if this is whole roasted onions, I'm just gonna drop my mic and walk out right now. It's not. I don't care if the Amish did it in the middle of Pennsylvania. I don't care. All right. Sorry.
Don't be dissing the Amish. Come on. They're my people. They're lovely. They're lovely, and honestly, Lancaster has some very redeeming qualities to it. So the location, you have to fly there. That's largely because to eat the authentic article of this regional delight, you have to go to Hawaii. And I'm talking about poke, the bowl raw fish with just some Polynesian and Southeast Asian spices and sauces all tossed together into this lovely homogeneous just goop that is just on par, if not greater than sushi. And honestly, it is just a delight. You feel good about yourself when you're eating it because it is healthy. Maybe like it's kind of is like there's a lot of sodium, but still it's not like fried, so that's a positive. But yeah, honestly, and it is definitely like gaining in popularity, and I think people are getting a real appreciation for like, you know, the positive, like the less, or I guess the more healthy alternative, as like instead of Chipotle, get poke. It's slightly healthier, cool. But beyond like just the health component, it's just damn good. Like raw fish, fresh raw fish, you can't really go like wrong. Ahi tuna, some salmon, and then just mix that together with just a variety of veggies and like just some sauce, and you have yourself a meal that is fit for a king.
Man, I feel like Big Poke is going to be calling you for some representation down the road here. This is a good choice. I am a sushi guy. I do like my poke once in a while. I have never had it on the mainland or with a nice side of a fresh poi. I wish I could try this. So it is definitely on my bucket list of foods, but not something I have had. Again, this is something I've only had the derivatives of, not the fresh thing. So Mitch, go up against this number 3 with yours. What are you going to battle poke with?
Mine couldn't be more opposite and different than that last one. You don't gotta leave the contiguous to get this one. You just gotta get on whatever riverboat you're nearest, get to the central part of the country, get to the Queen City herself, Cincinnati, follow the bad smell, and go try the most audacious dish on my list, and that is Skyline Cincy chili. This was started in 1949 by Greek immigrant Nicholas Lambrinidis. There are no beans in this thing. There are no vegetables. It's just water, meat, and spices. People have long debated, is it cinnamon because it's kind of sweet, or is it allspice? Is it chocolate? What is it that makes it that gives it that odd kind of sweetness? Have either of you ever had it before? First, I want to ask that before I continue. I
have not had the Cincinnati brand of this chili, no.
Okay.
I have had a derivative one time. So.
Okay. So, it's like it's pretty sloppy. You know, it's like a thin slop. It's not your hearty Texas stew with a lot of beans and big chunks of beef. Nothing like that. The meat is finely ground. And the secret, though, it continues to be a deeply held one, which is great. The recipe, only the family knows it. They don't tell the franchisees, which I love that about this. And I've personally been a handful of times. I'd say probably 7 to 8 times when I've been in Cincinnati. Only once during the daylight. So it's mainly a night food for me. And what I love about this is that in the city of Cincinnati, there are intense Skyline loyalists and Skyline misanthropes that live, you know, as neighbors in the same apartment building. And that's what I love about it. It's so derisive. Maybe it's a reflection of our current times, but this has been derisive since the decades ago. There are other things on the menu there. They've got, you know, salads or whatever, you know, Skyline Fresh, whatever.
Salads or whatever.
Yeah. You're like, we know that lettuce is old. You guys never served salads. But so you either have to go with the coney, which is the hot dog with the chili, or the famous dish is just called The Way. And it's either, it's not a cult, you know, it sounds like a cult, The Way, but it kind of is a little bit. The 3-way, that's the classic. That's just chili, cheese, and spaghetti. The 4-way, chili, cheese, spaghetti, and then onions or beans. And then the 5-way is both onions and beans on there. And you put hot sauce on top. You put oyster crackers on top. And surprisingly enough, it doesn't smell great, but the chili pairs quite nicely with the cheese. And then the pasta is just down there as like a beautiful, soft little minivan that's going to drive all that shit to your mouth. And then the hot sauce put on there spices it up. And then the oyster cracker is like, it cools it down. It's like when someone, you know, does a naughty in the kitchen, you got to throw kitty litter everywhere, kind of like contain the mess. That's what the oyster crackers do. And after you've had the Skyline chili, if you've had the 5-way, you know, you've got full bloating from the overcooked spaghetti. You've got heartburn and GI discomfort from the chili. You've got hot breath from the onions. raw onions. I should say that they don't cook the onions; they're raw. And then the classic, you got bean toots, you got cheese toots, you got dry mouth from the oyster crackers. So you got to wash it down with a Houday premium lager. And this did, like, when you describe it, you're like, no fucking way do I want to eat that. That's going to be bad. And when you're there and you're eating it and you're sober, you're like, this is not good. I don't know why I'm doing this to my body. But if you have just the right mixture of cocktails, and you can't have too much beer either, because then your stomach is full, and then it's not going to want spaghetti and chili and cheese and raw onions and oyster crackers. So you got to have some whiskey in there too. It just, it comforts and it insulates and it protects you from the horrors of the next morning. And I think this is why this place has continued to exist. There are ample locations near the local colleges, of course. But that is Skyline Chili. It's insane. But again, it's got cojones. It's got the will to be itself. And that, I think that's what we need right now in this country.
I mean, honestly, I was expecting this poll from you. As soon as you mentioned the Bengals in Cincinnati, I was like, oh, he's going with the Cincinnati chili route. Like, this is obvious. And I was like planning like my rebuttal in advance, like while I was talking about poke, while I was talking about key lime pie. And then you led with water. And I'm just really confused with it. It's like when I'm having a meat dish, the number one ingredient on like the ingredient list, water, is not really what I kind of envision as being like a phenomenal type of food. And so I kind of like forgot what I was going to say earlier as soon as you led with water. And I'm kind of going to let that part speak for itself a bit.
I mean, regional water is an important part of a dish. I mean, a New York bagel needs New York water. So, I mean, this is fine. Because to be honest, for me, Mitch, you had me at water, meat, and spices.
Water, meat, spices. Boom. There we go.
Yeah, that's all it is. You had me at meat tornado is basically the moment I'm having here. It's, I like the idea of something that's regional that uses something commercial. So like this chili needs oyster crackers off the shelf. It's like something that's like whatever, like you need a disgusting pile of nachos that is covered in Velveeta. But it's something that makes it that thing. So you're getting the full 3 points for this chili, because that is just, you got it, man. You got it. You're going after my heart right here, and you're trying to clog it. And I love that. Yep. So you're getting 3 points for that. Dylan, you are getting 2 points for your poke bowl. Okay. Can't beat the chili, but it is a solid choice for your number 3. And I think well placed on the list. 3 is a good place for poke. Mitch, going back to you, you need to defend and reveal your number 2 choice, please.
Yeah. So number 2, I am actually going, I'm not flying back to Chicago after my Skyline chili. I'm getting an Airbnb in OTR, over the Rhine neighborhood. And I'm waking up in Cincinnati the next day, and for breakfast, I'm going to my nearest breakfast joint, and I'm ordering Geta. Geta is the shit. Do you guys know what Geta is?
No, please continue.
I do not know.
Oh, boys, you are in for a treat, my friends. Okay, so they have a Geta Fest in Cincinnati. It's a whole fest dedicated to this food, and I hope you'll say to yourself, oh, Cincinnati sounds like a stupid place after I describe what it is.
How do you spell Geta?
You spell it Goetta. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly how it sounds.
The reason I love Geta is because I had this food in a different form, but same ingredients when I was a child at my grandparents' farm in Minnesota. And in Minnesota, they call it Kreisen for whatever reason. I tried to find mention of that on the internet. I could not find it, but there's like lots of different German sausages and kind of breakfast meats that mirror this. But what it is you take the leftover parts after you butcher a pig or a cow, but preferably pig. So I will describe to you how my grandma made this from scratch. My mom helped her as a kid. You send your pigs to the butcher. You get the head back. You put the whole head in a boiling pot of water. You boil the shit out of the pig's head. You take all that meat off, and then you grind it and mix it with steel cut oats and some spices, spices, quote unquote, salt and pepper, maybe a little Lowry's or something like that, if that, maybe garlic salt. And you mix it together, and it's this beautiful, savory meat oat, like perfect breakfast power patty, basically. In Cincinnati, they fry it up in like rectangular things, and they serve it on sandwiches, a lot of times like with mustard, maybe some pickles or some onions, that kind of thing. On the Dickhouse family farm, they fried it up into patties, and you have that with your eggs, or you put it on a piece of white bread with some syrup, and it kind of tastes sort of like you're eating pancakes with like a little bacon on there or something. You get the savory, you get the good carbs, you get that sweet. These things, after you eat Kreisen or Geta, you have energy to work the farm the whole damn day. You got to split half a forest of logs. Done. You can do it with Geta in your system.
Do it with Geta.
do it with Geta. And I just want to just close your eyes and go to a big, beautiful breakfast table with me, and I will describe this sensation for you. It's crispy on the outside, a crisp crust that you get by frying in a pan. It's wonderfully spiced. It's savory. It's soft on the inside, and it creates a perfect balance with your eggs. And you get those little hunks of pork and those little hunks of oats together. It goes in your body, and it charges you back up to 100%. And it's amazing. It's great. So that's my number 2.
All right. I feel like you've lost some of us here. Because although I'm sure it's delicious, 75% of it on paper sounds horrifying.
This was a food that farm people from all over Europe back in the day. This is how you stretch your meat. This is how you keep all your kids alive through winter, so they can come back again in spring and work the farm again. So
that's fine, but it's keeping you alive. The love of a regional food, something that just keeps you alive, is a necessity, not something that brings me back to a region. So defend why this Geta would bring me back to Cincinnati, or this Kreisen back to Stearns County. Because, okay, so have you ever had pig cheek before? I love jowl. I'm a pig jowl man. Yes, you got me there. Yeah.
So that is a big chunk of this flavor coming in. You've got great flavor from the pig head.
But why oats? Why oats? I don't understand the oats mix.
Because the oats, back in the day, you'd take oats and meat, because oats were cheaper than meat, and you'd mix them together. So you'd get literally a protein energy power breakfast patty.
I'm not talking about the logistics of why it's a good idea. I'm talking about in the flavor profile. Why would I mix oats and pig?
Because what it does is the oats mellows out. It's not just like a pure sausage patty there, because it mellows it out a bit. And in this way too, kind of like how you have like grains with meat, it's kind of the same idea. You put them together in one thing, and there you go. It's delicious. It's delicious. Mm-hmm. Germans don't necessarily spice it a lot, but I have personally made like a Cajun Kreisen before, and that was very delicious. So you can add some more stuff to it, but I know it sounds crazy. It sounds awful, but man, is it delicious. Ooh, it's good.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, Mitch, not to assist my enemy in this battle, I've never had it, but it's ringing a lot of bells for Scrapple, which is the Pennsylvania Dutch, I think, equivalent for Pennsylvania folk, which is really just pork scraps and buckwheat flour, and it is honestly delicious. So I kind of endorse it, and seeing Brian's reaction to like the disgust on his face, I'm feeling happy about my choice as opposed to yours. So I'm comfortable kind of building you up a bit.
Speaking as a fellow German, this does sound like a food that would be born from our humorless people. No, we just need the scraps, need the oats, and keep everybody alive. Move on. So it sounds very German. So that part of me it's definitely appealing too. All right, your rebuttal, Mr. Dillon here. What is your number 2?
Yeah, so, I mean, if you're making a top 5, you gotta put a sandwich somewhere on the board, right? You gotta put, like, just, what's more American than a sandwich? It's mobile, but you can also sit at a table and enjoy it. So, like, it's the best of all the worlds. It's best of everything. And I'm like, okay, from Philadelphia, I'm like, oh, cheesesteak immediately. No, fuck cheesesteaks. They're good drunk food, but honestly, they're not an everyday sandwich. They really aren't. Okay? So no way in hell cheesesteaks are going on my top 5.
Fair.
I'm going across the country. I'm going to Los Angeles because they actually are the origin point of a little-known sandwich called the French dip.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, see that? I don't have to go on because his reaction to that is good enough for me. Because you get that sliced roast beef, you get Swiss cheese, maybe some onions, maybe some mushrooms on top, you get a baguette, and then you dip it. You freaking dip it in more meat juice. And then just down it. And then once you're done the sandwich, you take the fries. And then you dip those into the meat juice, the au jus. And then you just down it. You feel bad about yourself at the end, but there's no better sandwich in existence than the French dip, in my opinion. It is just the best. It is the greatest. It is wonderful. It is the most American thing possible because we name it after the French, apparently, for some reason, even though, it's English roast beef, Swiss cheese, and then a French baguette. It's French dip. We're good enough. Okay, great. It's phenomenal, and that's why it's at my number 2.
This is a solid choice. I'm learning something. I did not know this was an LA original. I mean, I'm a Chicago guy. This is where beef sandwiches are all the rage here, but I'm very curious to know how that started in LA. That is very cool. Also, I do love dipping anything in au jus. I'm an au jus maniac. That's great. So
I was just about to say, as soon as he said the French dip, I knew I was toast because I know Brian. Brian and I have a long running au jus joke, and just we love to reference au jus. So I knew with the au jus, you were getting the all points. Yeah. Damn it. Good select. I want to say I was very tempted to put the Reuben on my list because the Reuben is an incredible sandwich, but when I looked into it, no one knows where it originated. So, if you can't pin it down,
I feel like that would have been born in a Jewish deli at some point.
But that is one of the theories, yes, in New York. So,
I mean, that is oh God, I'm so hungry. So good. I mean, I got to give a full 3 points to the French dip. It's a solid choice.
Thank you.
I'm worried about Geta or Kreisen. I need to have it. I need you to deliver it to me and sell me on this oats jowl mixture that keeps the farm kids alive to work their little brittle hands to the bone.
Yeah.
So I'll give you 2 points for this round.
Brian, if I promise to bring you back some Kreisen from Minnesota in January, can I get 3 points?
You will get an extra point in a future episode if Geta is delivered to me. Yes.
Got it. Okay.
See?
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yep.
All right. We're going to stick with our guest for the ultimate choice here. This is the number 1 U.S. regional food. What is your choice?
Yes, so my number 1 choice is both very broad and very narrow.
Oh.
Let's go back to 1803.
Oh my God.
I currently attend the University of Virginia, founded by Thomas Jefferson. And ignoring all the atrocities and horrendous and ethically problematic behavior he engaged with throughout his life, the best thing he ever did as president or as a person, in my opinion, is the Louisiana Purchase. Because with that, America got the culinary tradition of Cajun and Creole cooking. And it is, without doubt, the best amalgamation of both American indigenous, Spanish, West African, French, everything you really need. All cultures who know how to cook food, you get Cajun and Creole. Cajun and Creole cooking. And if I had to pick a singular dish that is like the perfect example of all that Cajun and Creole cooking has to offer, you got to go with gumbo. The best, just the most wholesome, fulfilling. It is a stew / a soup. It is wonderful. It is a dish that is better the next day. Like when you make it, it's good, but then it sits overnight and congeals a bit more. All the flavors really get to know each other a bit more. The okra or the filet powder really thickens it, so you can really get like that, just like it coats the back of the spoon. Like that's just like where you know it's good. And you can put basically whatever you want in it too. Like people who are outside of like New Orleans largely think it's really like you get shrimp andouille. Like andouille is by far an essential component, but like you get like, you know, there's seafood gumbo, which is, you know, more indicative of Creole cooking. But then you have Cajun, which is more like you use gamier meats, like maybe a rabbit plus the andouille, or like something that's like that you hunt and actually put in a dish that you're making for your family. And like without question, it's just like, it's wholesome, good cooking that people use to survive, people use to show love for their families. Like, there's nothing better than that in America. And that's why my number one pick is gumbo, but like the larger culinary tradition of the Cajun and Creole peoples.
Wow.
This is a good choice. I mean, I was waiting for the andouille speak because andouille sausage is a good choice.
And very difficult to find in a lot of places, which is really upsetting.
That is the only thing that you have going against you, is this is a regional food that truly is regional to get it right. I feel like all the other things on your list, you can get a derivative in some way that's going to be decent. This Creole Cajun gumbo made the right way is very, very hard to get, which makes it a good case for a regional food. Mitch, you seem like you have some thoughts. What are you stewing in?
Yeah, you listed off all those culinary traditions as being the people of the world who really know how to cook. And you didn't say German people. And I was like, what the hell, guy? And, you know, have you ever had a German enchilada? It's just potatoes and cream sauce in a tortilla. And it's great. It's really good. If you put salt on it, it's even better. So I just want you to go back and check your ideas a little bit.
Is anything boiled or encased in casing in some sort of way as well?
Yeah, and we can thank the German tradition, right? I mean, that's, yeah. I mean, I haven't had a lot of good gumbo because, again, you said it's very regional. There was one place here in Chicago called the Blue Bayou that I had it once in like literally 2009. I had some great gumbo. And it has been closed since 2010, and the sign still hangs at their old location here on Southport, and no one has taken it over. Maybe it's cursed. Maybe it's a voodoo curse. I don't know.
Oh, no.
But that's the closest. I've never been to New Orleans, so I've never had it at the source, which, you know, it's yeah. But that is a very good choice. I will give it up for that. And I like the mention of it showing love for your family. You know, I like that aspect because, I mean, who isn't emotional about food, right? It's an emotional thing. Yeah,
definitely. I definitely think that.
Yeah, if I lose tonight, I'm definitely going to go finish the rest of the ice cream in the freezer, and that's going to make me feel better. But.
Well, go ahead and give it your best shot. What is your number one here, Mitch? Dazzle us with your choice for best regional food.
My number one continues to be, you know, kind of a German-centric food, and my number one choice for the top 5 U.S. regional food is something that is undeniable, and that is the Wisconsin deep fried cheese curd.
Oh, my Lanta. Please keep talking.
That was the noise I was hoping for. Good. I feel good about this. So obviously curds are a byproduct of the cheddar cheese making process. Wisconsinites have been going nuts for these since the mid 19th century when they first started making them. The lore of the beautiful, lush Wisconsin countryside brought farmers with their cattle and to the Wisconsin farmland. They started making cheese. If you really want to have the best curd possible, you don't want to have a curd that's more than 3 days old. The longer it sits, the worse it gets. Yep. And old curds can even cause stomach problems, more so than cheese already does. So watch out for that. And one of the true pleasures in my life thus far has been getting to experience an hours-old cheese curd, freshly fried at a cheese facility somewhere in central Wisconsin. I think it was Monroe. I don't remember exactly. And it should be number one on your list of stuff to do in Wisconsin. Cheese curds, it's got to be there. I just that small window, that small quality life that it has, I just love that because it maintains a mystique. I think that maintains that the curd isn't everywhere all the time, and because if it held the same, if you shipped it across the country and made it a month later, it wouldn't be the same. But cheese curds, when they're truly fresh, they're much, much better. And I know you guys know about cheese curds. When they warm up, they get that squeak back. You love that squeak. That is air escaping the cheese curd. What a delightful sensation that is. If it's not squeaking, 3 seconds in the microwave, it'll get your squeak right back. And just the experience. Now, my favorite way to have them, Minnesota State Fair. In the food building, you visit the number one cheese curd seller at the state fair. It's called the Mouth Trap. Oh, you laugh every time you go to it. You get that crispy hot shell. Your shell, the breading, it shouldn't dwarf the size of the curd either. I've had curds here at bars in Chicago, and it's like the curd is an afterthought inside that deep fried breading. Sometimes a dash of cayenne in the batter is very nice. I've had that before at the state fair. And there are only 2 acceptable dipping sauces for curds. You don't have to dip if you don't want to, but the 2 are ranch, of course. That's a Midwestern classic, or ketchup, which is an amazing amuse-bouche, if you will, of a full grilled cheese sandwich dipped in tomato soup almost. It's a wonderful, wonderful mouth experience. And there's some rules to curds of course. When you're at the Minnesota State Fair, you get a purchase, a size of them, a boat, if you will, a boat of curds.
Trough.
A trough. Thank you very much. A trough of curds. It comes with a neck strap. It's great. And when you're sharing it with friends, there are rules, just like with nachos. If the shells connect, that is one curd. You do not have to break it apart. That is one curd. You are awarded for that bravery to go in for the big one. I think that's it. I think that's everything I have to say. Wisconsin's a beautiful place. Go for the curds. Keep staying for the beer, I guess. And that's it. Yeah, Wisconsin fried cheese curd. Again, I rest my case. Damn it. I think I should be a lawyer. Oh, I'm killing this. Wow.
Honestly, that's a very, very respectable number one. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of cheese curds, whether they're fried or poutine or anything. Like, honestly, cheese curds are the way, and I mean that both the pun and legitimately. But yeah, no, honestly, huge props to you for that number one. I will just note that the cheese curds being phenomenal and like delicious, you are going up against the entire culinary tradition of the Louisiana people. So
sure. Yeah.
That is tough. But you did mention one of my favorite things about cheese curds, a light batter. That is something that people forget. And some of the best ones I've had have been at the Lakefront Brewery in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Light batter with a garlic ranch dipping sauce. Now, I have not been to the Minnesota State Fair. I hope to go one day when it opens, and then I will get me some of those neck trough curds that I deeply, deeply desire. So we have an interesting ending here. The entire cooking of an entire group of people, or the amazing cheese curd. Both of you are getting 3 points for this round, but there's a little caveat. There was no real house rule put in place today, but Mitch, you guessed my BizBear advice that will be at the end of the show, so I will give you an extra point, which brings your total to 11 to Dylan's 12. Dylan scooting by with the win today.
And I fade into the darkness, never to be seen again, with my 1-0 lifetime record. Thank you.
Yes.
You lead burying son of a bitch. How dare you get my hopes up for that W?
That was a good battle, though, boys. And I
was a
am
very good battle.
Starving right now because of you, dickheads. But, we can't leave today without hearing my Fast Five, which, of course, is the top 5 signs that December is upon us. Number 5, the holiday music. Let me take that again. Number 5, the all holiday music all the time radio station has been playing Christmas music for 2 weeks already. That's right, everybody. Mariah Carey has crawled out of her perennial cave to collect her residuals, and the debate over Baby It's Cold Outside has been refueled. Now, the only good part of this trend is that your nemesis that still work your old retail jobs are subjected to the holly jolly repeats going on in their ears. But then you feel bad about the good folks who are just trying to put food on the table who are also subjected to this torture. So 93.9 Light FM, you cruel bitch. Number 4, the first snow falls, providing your neighbors with the delight of your unpreparedness. So your suburban neighbors with the good lawn love it when you have to I cannot talk tonight. Your suburban neighbors with the good lawn love it when you have yet to drain the oil from the lawnmower and haven't greased up the old blower yet. It's buried in the garage behind the old pictures you meant to go through in May and under the plastic tote of extra sweaters. You dig her out. She fights you on every yank, stiff from the year-long union-mandated break. You finally get the modest 3 inches of snow removed from the concrete, only to find you're out of salt for the stairs. Fuck! Number 3. Shopping now has a deadline. Shit. You stayed away from Black Friday out of principle, and now you actually have to start buying shit. Weeks 1 and 2 of December are where you do your most creative thinking for the folks you always put a ton of care into for gifts. That rare Etsy item that'll take weeks to ship, the funny movie-themed coffee mug that's for what's-her-face. Then you start making the mad dash in the following weeks for anything you can give away. Yes, honey, buy the blankets, buy all the flannel blankets and the candles. We need to have tchotchkes ready to reciprocate to the people that don't matter that bothered to give us a card. Number 2, the movies you actually like are on TV again. Elf, Christmas Vacation, A Christmas Story. All the classics are making their way through the channels that didn't produce new content on a Canadian soundstage in July. Gotta fill the airwaves, and god damn it, do you respect that. Number 1, your favorite everything has returned. Oh, you can get a peppermint mocha at Starbucks using last Christmas's gift cards? Oh, you can eat another cookie because fuck it. I'll take a pinwheel, a Toll House, an apricot cheese, and raspberry kolachki. Thank you. Can you please put some Baileys in my hot chocolate, please? A little whiskey in that cider. Thank you. All while hanging out at home in person without masks, talking, breathing. Shit. Well, the thought was good while it lasted. And that's this week's edition of Über Cinco. From the quaint Sopaco district of Chicago's North Side has been
Mitch Brinkman.
And from the Philadelphia playground where he spent most of his days has been
Dylan Cattie.
And as Bizbear always says, if the chips get stuck together, that's one nacho. Auf Wiedersehen and adios. You've just listened to Über Cinco, a production of UBK Studios. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your fine podcasts from.
If you like what you hear and want to support the show, please visit our Patreon site at patreon.com/UBK Studios. Every little bit helps us keep the lights on and the bill collectors at bay.
Keep tabs on us on all the social media at UBK Studios, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see that we really are just a bunch of good Midwestern boys.